Alright guys, so I'm back at VOODOO. I know a lot of you guys have been requesting this video and I've been holding off on it to put more miles on the car, but today we're finally doing a Borescope on the car. We're gonna go ahead and see if there's any type of damage inside those cylinders. As you guys know, that was my biggest fear with the car and part of the reason I haven't modified the engine till now. If everything checks out today, then we can finally start the power mods and power adders. But if there is anything else, then that might be a kind of an issue for today. So hopefully we don't find anything. As you guys know, I'm kind of emotionally invested in this car at this point. I've done a lot of little stuff to it here and there, but just nothing engine-wise just yet. So we're gonna go ahead and see what happens. All right, boys, so we're starting off the process. Obviously, we have to take all the covers and the sway bar has to come off right here in order to be able to get to the spark plugs.
Yeah, I got to pull off all this paneling, the brace, and then we can access to where the valve covers are, then pull out the coil packs, and then we can get to the valve cover, or the spark plugs, and then we'll scope it, and then we'll go for the compression test. So hopefully we won't find anything on the scope.
All right, guys, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
If you like this car and you like this channel, then you have your fingers crossed right home right now. And slap a like while you're at it too. There is the Coyote, boys.
This is your mechanical high pressure fuel pump. So this is for your auxiliary fueling for your direct port.
Now if I go E85, I don't need to install anything, right?
Nope. You just need a tune.
And is that because of the way these are set up compared to the previous models?
It's because on E85, technically you run about 30% more fuel. It's not exactly, but that's about the average range. Could be 15%, could be 20% kind of idea. So you need to tell the computer to deliver more fuel.
And that's why sometimes you need to do stuff to be able to
either
put
a bigger injector on or put a bigger pump in or something that can handle the more load or the more volume.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of where all that comes from. It's really crazy because it's so cluttered on this head that they could not put the coil pack like this into number, what is this, 3. So cylinder 3 has a totally different type of coil pack and a spark plug wire.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so
that's so funny how it's very compact.
Yeah, so what they did is they mounted a separate coil over here so that this pump can be right here in this place. Because the camshafts is what drives the high pressure fuel pump. Because this has like something like 1,000, 1,200 PSI kind of idea or more.
Wow.
So to make an electric pump do that, the pump would be freaking huge, right?
In order to deliver that kind of pressure.
Yeah. So they make this guy that spins off the camshaft and it can have has an arm that comes off and it runs on the cam like that, and it pumps it, you know, like an old water pump for horses. Same idea. It does that same effect, but does it so fast in such a manner that it can produce the pressure
that it needs.
Yeah. So inlet, and then this goes off to the injectors that are underneath the manifold. So the fuel comes in on this side from the tank, from your normal pressure pump, feeds to the rail, and then this rail has an extra line on here that then feeds the high pressure pump. And then this line goes and feeds the lower injectors underneath the manifold.
Well, there you go. Now you guys know something I didn't even know before, so learning something new. Okay, all the coil packs are out on either side. Now they're going to remove the actual plugs, the spark plugs, so we can stick the little cameras in there.
Let's get a peek.
We'll take a peek and see. Is that the first spark plug right there?
Yes.
How are they looking?
Actually looks really good.
So these are looking pretty good?
These are very good. Nice and dry, good coloration. You want to see the grain. You don't want to see a lot of black. Black means a lot of carbon. It's not a good combustion. So you want to see a slight grain on it.
Nice.
Yeah, these are looking good.
This one's probably towards the top, huh?
Yeah, it's a little higher up. We may have to crank the engine to change position.
I think it's still gonna be okay. So basically where they wear is on the top and the bottom side of the piston. So this part of the cylinder, this part of the cylinder.
Okay.
Because that's where the skirt of the piston is. So if that's where we're going to look for the marks, on this here and here. So we're not going to look on the sides, top and bottom only.
Okay, so where's the top and bottom in our sensor direction right now?
So this would be top side, this would be
Bottom.
bottom side.
Okay.
So intake would be top, exhaust would be bottom side of the piston.
Oh, the piston, okay.
Yes, so that's the way they're orientated inside of the cylinders.
Gotcha, okay.
So I think this one might be at the top of the cylinder.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
deceiving because this is the
That
center of the
looks-
piston.
Yeah, that looks
It
like
looks like a piston, but see how this is black?
Mm-hmm.
This is carbon buildup. So this is still the top of the piston. This is just the very center of the piston.
Yeah.
It's so far up that we can't perceive it properly.
So like this.
So that's
So-
why it looked like it was down,
But it's not?
But
So
it's
like,
not. So this is a
you
down
see-
one. See how you
yeah.
got the notches there and stuff? You can actually see the whole piston here.
Oh, okay.
So all we're seeing is this other one is just this center
my God.
section.
Yeah, that was very deceiving. I'm like, that's it.
Yeah.
So we might have to crank it to get it down?
Yeah. So this is 1 through 4, and this is 5 through 8.
All right, and everything looks solid.
Yeah, looks great.
All right, internet mechanics, go at it in the comments. Let me know. They're gonna be like, no, that's wrong.
Let's hear it.
Guys, so we checked on a few of the cylinders. They're looking pretty good. Nothing that we can really tell on the cylinder wall, so it's looking pretty clear. But there's a few cylinders that are up, so we're gonna crank the car just to have them come down, and then we're gonna do the Borescope once again for those cylinders that we didn't check on just yet. But so far so good. Nothing sticks out. A little bit of carbon buildup, right? Would you say?
Yeah,
That's about
a
it.
little bit.
But spark plugs look good. And yeah, I mean, just kind of like safety precautions before I do anything power-wise to the engine.
It's actually pretty cool.
There we go.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Looks okay. You can see the reflection.
That's a reflection right there?
Yeah, so that's the
Okay.
reflection of. See, this,
Uh-huh.
and that's a reflection of it.
Okay,
In the
cool.
wall.
Yeah, so that's that right there.
Oh,
I can
grooves.
make those go away. So see it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the cylinder is mirror-esque.
Yeah.
It's a little shiny, so you can see an image in it.
Reflection again.
Yep.
Do it again.
Oh, there we go.
That's perfect.
Okay, and just like that, we checked all the cylinders. I'm going to throw a few of the screenshots up of our little Borescope. Kind of show you what we saw. Nothing alarming at all. We haven't actually seen anything that would be worth mentioning or noting in terms of any type of scoring on the cylinder wall. So that's a very, very big, good sign, I guess, that the engine's good. Also, spark plug's really good. So now we're just going to do a compression test as a last measure, and that'll be a wrap for today.
Do our first one, and then we'll do a second one, and we'll write them down. So we'll log both, and then we'll move to the next cylinder, and we'll do that all the way through.
285 flat. $288.5.
288.
290 flat. 285 flat. 284.5.
So the first go is down here. We came back around to number 2 because it was the lowest of all of them, and lo and behold, we did come up higher. So this, again, like I was saying, just the oil in the cylinders can cause a little better sealing of it. So once everything cycles more and more, the better seal you get. That's why I write these down, and then we'll refer and go back on the cylinders and double check on them. So yep, so 2 went from 272 to 279. So that
And
definitely
everything
brings you
is
on.
within kind of the
Yeah,
280s.
you're pretty much within 5% of everything here. Your highest you had was a 290 in cylinder 5. And the lowest was the 272 in the begin with. So right now your lowest is 277, 278.
Okay, that's looking pretty close. So
You're
nothing
on it.
alarming at all.
No,
Nothing-
not at all. I would say you're looking good.
Cool.
So
All right, guys. So the Mustang is back together. Compression test done. Borescope done. Everything looks pretty good. Just hooking up the fuel pump, and now we can go ahead and crank her back on and make sure everything runs. So that was a nice little peace of mind that I needed before I modified the engine, just to make sure there's nothing wrong with it. I'm also approaching maybe the interval where I should do an oil change, so I'm also going to get the oil change analyzed, maybe just for, you know, see if there's any type of metal shavings or anything in there. I know a lot of you guys have reached out to me telling me that you have found some metal shavings, stuff like that have alarmed you, so I figured might as well just do that at the next oil change anyways. But car's running really good, compression test shows solid numbers, so there's nothing really to worry about, but it's better be safe than sorry, especially when you're modifying a car that is worth a lot of money. You just want to make sure that you're doing it as safe as possible to not have to deal with any mishaps or anything like that. So better safe than sorry, pretty much. Does it show any codes or anything? No?
Looks good. Hold on.
So she's back to light, sounding good.